I hope you all are doing well today. I have just returned home this afternoon from being at ARA yet again. And by the way, happy fall to you. Today is September 22nd, 2020. Hard to believe that we are into fall, but indeed we are. I don't know how you're feeling, but gosh, we have so much going on this year. I mean, 2020 has brought so much with it. And if you're having other issues too, or even just the COVID issues, sometimes it's just overwhelming. And I think, what can I do? And then of course I remember I've just got to hold on to Jesus. I've just got to hang on to my faith and trust. I have to trust and hold on. And one of the passages, I love the Gospel of John because it has so many different images that we can use for Jesus. But one of the most important to me is out of the 15th chapter of John. And, this was right before Jesus was arrested. It's placed by John in the teachings that Jesus gave his disciples. And from that perspective is perhaps even more important to us. But in chapter 15 of John, beginning with the fifth verse, Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me you can do nothing. Verse 7, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. And then it says in verse 11, I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. So Jesus is the vine, we are the branches. It's God's intention that we become disciples and that we bear much fruit. And in fact, Jesus is telling us, if you're having trouble bearing fruit, ask, and it will be done for you. So I think that tells us that we're being asked to bring to God the issues and the problems that we face each and every day. This entire COVID event that is affecting the whole world, we need to be bringing in prayer to God each day. But also our own things. I have a number of health things going on. It really is kind of scary. And I'm not sure how things are going to work out. In fact, in my natural mind, I can't figure it out. So I have to simply trust God. Trust. And when the scriptures tell us to make our home in God, to abide in the vine, is telling us that we need to make our home and we need to dwell in, we need to live in this vine. Well, what is this vine of Jesus? Well, the vine is one of love. It's one of mercy. It's one of compassion. It's one, as he pointed out here in his teaching, that his goal is for us to have his joy and to have his joy complete. And that complete joy comes from bearing much fruit. Now, for us to focus on holding on to the vine or focus on being a part of that vine, focus on Jesus, his love flowing through us out to other people, that takes a couple of things. First of all, we have to trust God. We have to choose to trust God. We have to hold on. We have to attach ourselves to the vine. We have to put ourselves in a place of dwelling and making our home and abiding in God. And to do that, it requires what? Choice and focus. We have to choose to focus on our faith, to nurture our faith, to increase our faith. We have to have that intentionality and that mindfulness in us. Now, that can be hard to do. And it can be hard to do, to be loving to other people and to be loving at times when we aren't feeling very loving, or we're feeling like we need to be the one receiving love. But the reality around us may be that we're the one who needs to be giving love. And to do that, we need to be abiding in the vine. We need to be holding on, trusting God, choosing and focusing on God and what God can do through us. Now, there's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know whether you knew it. I didn't know it until actually I looked up some things on vines. But on a grapevine, every little bloom that comes out on the plant will self-pollinate itself and become a grape. So if one messes around with the flowers and knocks off flowers or fails to provide enough nourishment for the flowers to develop, it directly impacts a grape for every flower that's impacted. And so if we're going to bear much fruit, that tells me a couple things. One of them is that we need to do that wonderful old saying from the 80s and the 70s, let go and let God. And in truth, I think that's really true. We have to let go of things. We have to let go of COVID. We have to let go of finances. We have to let go even of our faith, to trust God's grace to move through us, to strengthen our faith and empower our faith. We have to let go and let God to be loving to people who are radically different. And we are in a very difficult time in our country. We are so divided. And I think that social media and things of that nature do nothing but increase the divide between us. We must have God's help to bridge this divide. We must have God's help to have God's love flowing through us. Last week when the kids were here, we suddenly had a moment where they were closing the door, and the next thing I know, they're all calling to me, oh no, there's a spider, there's a spider. So I come over and look on the door, and here on this white there are this tiny, tiny little black spider. And shortly after that, I heard words of, well, kill it, get it out of here. Well, I just picked up a cleaner, and I walked over with the, probably with the napkin, and I placed the napkin by the little spider, who obliged by climbing on it, walked right outside the door, placed the napkin over in a plant, and the spider climbed off and went merrily along its way. And about an hour or so later, I received this text from someone who was here. It's attributed to a Rudy Francisco. But Rudy says, she asked me to kill the spider. Instead, I get the most peaceful weapons I can find. I take a cup and a napkin. I catch the spider, put it outside, and allow it to walk away. Now, here's the key part, please. Get this deep inside of you. He says, if I am ever caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, just being alive and not bothering anyone, I hope I am greeted with the same kind of mercy. Well, that mercy to me is an excellent example of the mercy and the love of Jesus Christ for each one of us, for all the people and things that we're concerned about, for all of God's creation, all of the animals. I worry heavily about them during these storms and during these fires, but they are part of God's creation, beloved as we are beloved. And so I encourage all of you, just visualize yourself as a beautiful branch attached to that vine of Jesus Christ, bearing marvelous fruit, and having in you the grace, the love, the power that you need to live each day and to be loving. Please receive that love and pass it on. May it be said of us, and may it be said of those that are around us, if I'm ever caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, just being alive and not bothering anyone, I hope I am greeted with the same kind of mercy. God bless you and keep you. May God's face smile upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.